Hello darlings, this is Yellowmar and I'm reporting on my 10-day sugar-free diet. About a week and a half ago I saw the documentary Fed Up and I was inspired to do their 10-day challenge of eating absolutely no sugar for 10 days, including natural sugars like honey and maple syrup or artificial sugars or refined sugars within those 10 days. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what I found, what I discovered, some insights, the benefits that I found, and what happened when I introduced sugar back into my diet. I didn't think the 10 days were going to be very challenging, and at the same time I was really curious to see where my blind spots are and where it actually is entering my diet without me noticing and in what quantities. I'm like a very intuitive eater. I don't really count calories or anything like that. I just kind of go by the way my pants fit or the way I look in the mirror or the way I feel. So it was very eye-opening to start to add up the grams of sugar that I would normally eat. For example, on day one, I realized, wait a second, I have coffee with sugar in the morning. And again, towards the early evening, I like my warm cup of tea with another tablespoon of honey, more sugar. And for the past, I don't know how many years, 3 to 5 years, I've been having a single square of dark chocolate before going to bed as like a little treat. So when I added all that up, I realized, holy crap, I really do have a lot of sugar in my diet. And it was really great to bring that awareness back in and to, instead of just like eating what I normally eat, really being intentional about what I was eating. I really loved that it brought that lens to my eating in the past 10 days. Discoveries that I had, insights that I had is that thankfully I'm not a sugar fiend like I used to be, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I felt really out of control with sugar, so I was very happy to realize that, you know, if something came up like, oh, I'd like to have that, I'd just tell myself, we're not having that right now. And my body, my brain would drop it like, okay, cool. But what I did discover is where I'm still using it as a crutch. For example, I noticed that I started to crave sugar when I needed a nap or it was time to start going to sleep. So somehow my wires are cross-wired where I interpret being tired to sugar, to eating sugar, and it makes perfect sense because that's usually the first line of energy for the brain in a typical American diet is glucose. So I could absolutely see why my brain would say that. And then the other thing that I found out was how I actually use sugar to pacify myself when I'm in a state of resistance. So from day 1 to 10 was pretty easy, but day 9 was hard for me. It was actually quite challenging. There was something that I wanted to do and I had the energy to do it, but for some reason I was in a state of resistance. And in that state of resistance, I felt super uncomfortable feeling that. And so I like walked right up to my fridge, something that I hadn't done throughout the entire 10 days, and like was getting ready to get a square of chocolate. And I usually eat it at night and it was midday and I'm like, oh, wait a second. So, you know, I noticed that behavior and I closed the door. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I totally use sugar to pacify the discomfort of resistance. And what I really loved about that opportunity of not having sugar as like my crutch was giving myself permission to fully like sit in the discomfort and really feel the full breadth of emotion of discomfort. And then from that place of awareness, I was able to be really sweet to myself, really kind to myself, and just say, okay, you have 2 options. You could either do what you want to do and not complain about it, and you know you're going to enjoy it in the long run, or you can choose not to do it and not feel guilty. The second I chose not to do it and not feel guilty about it, like all the stress melted away and my sugar craving like poof disappeared. So that was really nice to observe how we use food to numb or medicate. I've done so much work around this, but there's always more and more layers to uncover. And I could imagine that if I did this and when I do this more for longer, what else I will find. So the benefits I found from doing the 10-day challenge is that Really sensitive to sugar now. I need very, very little to feel satiated, and most sugar is like, whoa, too much for me right now. And secondly, I feel like I've expanded my palate and my flavors. Like I desire more savory stuff now. And my coffee, like I didn't know, I mean, I really enjoyed my coffee without any sugar. I loved the different parts of my tongue that were stimulated, and like the different spikes of flavor and the depth of flavor that was going on in my mouth. Totally loved it. And the other thing is that my face feels smoother than it was before the 10-day challenge. I haven't drinking any more water or worked out more. The only change that I could attribute it to is the fact that I haven't had sugar in 10 days. So that's a really cool benefit. My friend challenged me. She saw I was doing the 10-day challenge. She challenged me to a Whole30. So I'm really excited to do my very first Whole30. And I will be documenting my process. So I welcome you to look for that in future videos. When I introduced sugar back into my diet yesterday, I introduced a little bit of sugar in my coffee, not too much. I found like very little satisfied me. Thankfully it didn't trigger like more sugar cravings, which was nice to see how I've grown from that. I've definitely called it an addiction in the past. And I don't know, I also had a square of chocolate, and my typical square of chocolate actually gave me a bellyache. I don't know what it is. It might be something inside the chocolate bar. I know it has little pieces of almond. I don't know what it was, but it was interesting, and it definitely was a little bit sweeter than my liking, and it's not even a very sweet chocolate. So that was interesting. So I really enjoyed the experience, and I felt like there's a lot to learn here. And if you're curious about what role sugar plays in your diet, your relationship to it, and definitely how it's affecting your health and your body, if you're interested in watching the movie and figuring out how to do the 10-day challenge, go to fedup.com and you'll get all the details there. Also, feel free to reply below on the comments section if you've done the 10-day sugar-free challenge, if you've watched Fed Up, and any insights you might have gotten from the experience, or if you're planning on doing it, what are your hesitations and challenges? I'd be happy to support you. I truly love to be in community and support other people who are interested in living a happy life filled with tons of vitality and a sense of meaning and purpose and zest in life. So if there's any way I can support you, rock on. Just write whatever you need to write below in the comments section. Like this video, and I promise to post soon on my Whole30 experience. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you soon. Bye.